Hey there, everyone. Welcome to another Wednesday night watch chat, special edition watch soup light. Sorry for the little bit of a delay there. Just before I was about to go on Showtime at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, my son opens up his door and says, "Daddy, I can't go to sleep." So usually when he, usually when I put him to bed and he does this, like he'll come downstairs, whatever, and he'll peek his head out a few minutes after that. Usually, when he does that, he's very close to going to sleep. So I just sat with him for about a minute or two, and now he's asleep. Anyway, let's get started. I am wearing this evening the Citizen Series 8. I forget the model number. It doesn't matter. This watch is awesome. Love wearing it. The blue dial version of this is really, really awesome too. It's like, if I can get my hands on that one, I wouldn't keep both of them, right? But I think the blue dial one is a little bit more dynamic. But I don't think I was able to get it for the same price I got for this. So this will do just fine. Anyway, let's say hello to the chat and then we'll get started. We're doing I'm doing two videos tonight. It's light. It's two videos as opposed to three. It's just me. It's not Clayton or Sanjay. Where did Sanjay go? Um, and to be fair, like I didn't mention anything to Clayton. I know he kind of has been taking a break from doing the watch stuff. But love to get him back on and do this. He doesn't know anything about this, so maybe I'll spring it on him tomorrow. I'll be like, hey, try to do the watch soup on my own, but it's so much better with a partner for sure. But anyway, just had the idea on Monday to do it for today, and I haven't done it in a while, so let's get at it. Say hello to everybody on the chat. Let me know what you're wearing on your wrist, and we'll get going. Hey, Time Hill, what's going on, Steve? Good to see you. Maison, all right, he's up. Thanks, buddy. Greetings, horological humans. Moser Heritage on wrist tonight. Hey, Marcel, you and Tourbillon tonight. Excellent, excellent watches. Bangers. We're starting off with some bangers here. James Duffy, he's wearing a Seiko 7002 diver tonight. Excellent. Love it. Oh yeah, Urban Jurgensen. The, Steve, that was the Steve has a UJ, and when I met him a few years ago, and back in Philadelphia, I think when a couple was more than a few years ago, maybe like 3 or 4 years ago, you were wearing that watch, and that was the first time I had actually seen a UJ in person, and it was awesome. It was everything I thought it would be. Hey, Peter C, what's going on? Good to see you. Yeah, no rain here today. I mean, we've been so much rain lately. Um, Grass is growing. I got to get out there. And hey, Scott, what's going on? Good to see you. I wonder who got Archie's watches. Yeah, we're gonna talk about that one video, but I know he's made some other videos about in regards to the sales of the Rolexes after this video that we're going to be looking at, and I know he's got a couple live streams. Yeah, I'm yeah. I mean, this is a new page in Archie's watch collecting and content creation career. Let's see here. Hey, Ken Spear, what's up? Good to see you, buddy. I haven't seen you in a while. I feel like I haven't seen you in a while. Mez9 is here. Good to see you. Randa Ranger. Awesome. Naoya Hida Scott's wearing tonight. Yeah, I got the Jazz Fest poster in the background. Let's see here. How do I get rid of? Anyway, yeah, it's right there. It's the Tony Bennett, the one that Tony Bennett did in 2010 as Antonio Benedetto. That was a gift from Mrs. Legs. It's signed by him. We had to move the Jazz posters because we're finally getting the wood stove put in the living room, so they're building the hearth, and so we had to remove that wall. We had to remove the Justice posters for now, and the cuckoo clocks. Yeah, yeah. I don't know what's gonna happen. I mean, like because of the heat, that's generated by the wood stove and being in that kind of close proximity. I don't know if we can have all that stuff like hanging by there. So we'll see. Um, yeah, 2022 in Philly. Yeah, that's where we met. Hey, Eric, what's going on? Good to see you, buddy. Hey, Wayben. It has been a while. Wow, got some Wayben's here. Ken Spears here. Guys I haven't seen in a while. Thomas is here with a great collection shot. picture that's on the Bobby Legs Discord that he put up. It was awesome. He's got a great collection. Green Albanus for Mr. Spear. Awesome. Awesome. Eric, what are you wearing? He's wearing the drum watch quartz whimsical Wednesday. I like it. I like the idea. Okay. Awesome. All right. Let's get started. If you guys are new, oh, you were in Germany for a couple weeks. Yeah. Do you see any cool German watches? Inquiring minds want to know. Anyway, if you're unfamiliar with Watch Soup, it is a theme that that I had created a while back, and was joined by several other YouTube content creators like Sanjay from Engineer Wannabe channel, Clayton from the Watchdog podcast, where we look at the content from the major content creators of the week, and we break it down and analyze the videos. Very much similar to the Entertainment show Talk Soup, right? Where they did that for TV shows during the week. Um, anyway, saw some Zins in the flesh for the first time. Very nice. So tonight we're gonna do a couple videos. And the first one is going to be, let me present the, it's going to be Archie. Yeah. Archie, and he put out a video a few days ago called "The YouTube is Over: Why I Liquidated Half of My Watch Collection." And so I'm going to go over some of the bullet points here. Now, this is a lot of detail in this video. Is his career in YouTube, is it over? Spoiler alert: not quite, not quite. But anyway, this video is about being an entertainer on YouTube, and he says, it's not an easy business, right? The business um, of creating content, and it's changing, right? He had some good years in the last couple years, but this year, year end June 30th of 2025, they go in Australia. They do their year end is on June 30th, not at the end of December like it is in the States. He was going over some of his numbers, and he was not that good of a year, right? He has been doing YouTube full time. I didn't realize he was doing it full time. I knew he was doing full time in the last few years, or 5 or 6 years, but 11 years since 2014, when he got fired from or as he says, canned from the waste processing plant, right? Um, and he admits, and he says it several times in the video, that he had a good run and he made some good movie. He got money. He got to meet a lot of great people because of the channel, and had some great support. He had a patron, a guy named Dave, who helped him, build that super collection of watches that he had at one point, and took him to trips, right? Took him to Singapore and other areas, Malaysia, and Hong Kong and whatnot. And so he had some great support there. Guys like Bear Clooney and other people. He got support from, and things, all good things have to come to an end, right? He keeps on saying the high point of his career was when he turned 50 a few years back, and he celebrated in New York City, and one of his you know the supporters had gifted him a Sky Dweller, right? And so he was riding that high, and then he got home and he found out that he had been burgled. His house had been burglarized, and all of his collection, watch collection, was stolen. He did get about half the cost back from insurance, but it kind of set in motion some certain events in his life that that were hard, right? That were difficult, right? A couple of years later after that, his son passed away, right? And so it hadn't been easy, although at that moment in time, he still was doing really well on the YouTubes. Again, like he says, all things do come to an end, right? And he started to, accumulate some credit card debt, right? Uh, and uh, and uh, and he took out a HELOC on his home. Um, he ended up getting in debt, um, about a pretty good amount, right? And so he ended up selling half of his collection of four Rolexes, right? And he ended up getting around a little over $51,000, Australian dollars, for those Rolexes. So he was able to pay a tax bill that he had outstanding. He was able to clear, by my count, I think three credit cards. He put money back into that HELOC, and he had put money into a car lease, right? So he gets into this. It seems like to me, this is as an observer, right? Taking a 30,000 foot view of this, is that he gets into these cycles, right? Where, he ramps up the spending, right? And he ramps it up in bad spending, right? And he does it in the name of the channel, right? He gets the Pateks, right? He gets the Rolexes and all these high end timepieces, and accumulates a lot of debt, gets into trouble, finds a way somehow, whether it's through selling some watches or some other circumstances, is able to pay off a good sum of it off, and then he does makes the same mistakes all over again, right? Um, and so, like, yeah, I mean, I can identify with some of that, right? Making the same mistakes over and over again, right? Um, so now he feels like he's finally getting some breathing room, right? And he's actually thinking about even selling some more timepieces to get rid of some of the other debt that he has, right? Some women's pieces, right? That he has from his wife. Let her keep one, but he's going to sell a couple. Then he's got the Panerai. He's got some other watches that he thinks that he can raise up another maybe like 20 something $1,000, right? And so he keeps on harping how about how there's so many ups and downs in the entertainment industry, and he considers himself an entertainer. um, and so what he's gotten some maybe, and this is maybe some years of doing this and making the same mistakes over and over again. He's gotten like almost like it feels like a moment of clarity, right? Where he's like, he has to enjoy those ups, right? He may not be able to spend the money like he used to anymore, right? Because it's just unsustainable, right? And what is sad is, and this is where I feel like a lot of identification with Archie, is that he's 53, I'm 52, right? Um, and he says, like, trying to find a job as in IT, right? Because that's his background. At 53, well, that's like being 63 and trying to find a job anywhere else, right? It's like once you get to a certain age in IT, you're seen as, um, you know, that your time is done, right? And I totally feel that, because that's one of my biggest fears right now, is that with the macroeconomic situation as the way it is, you know, companies are laying off people, and if I get laid off as a 52-year-old person who is in IT, you know um man, am I going to be able to find a job? I think I have maybe about 10 or 12 years of runway left before I can retire. And so you know having you know the possibility of losing my job and trying to get back into this industry, it's a scary thought. So there was a lot of identification here that I had with Archie. um so he's still, he's grateful that he's able to sell the Rolexes, because and he needs to um get back onto the weight loss regimen. And so he's actually was thinking of even like going back to work somehow, right? I mean, like, he knows that maybe IT is not going to be in the cards, but what are his real options, right? And he listens, he's like, what, am I going to be Uber driver? What, am I going to drive taxis, deliver pizza, uh, be a maid, whatever? He just doesn't see that happening. He feels, though, and this is why the title is a little clickbaity, right? But YouTube is over. He's still going to continue making content, but he still feels like he can make a living doing this, um, but just not at the same magnitude. He's not going to be able to, pull in the same amount. But if he lives within his means, he could still make a career out of this, and make a living. So he estimates that he makes about 30 or 40 thousand USD, right? And in, I guess, in Australia and North America, I mean, that's, or in Europe, that may not be a lot of money. In other places in the world, it is a whole lot of money, but higher expenses here in some of these countries, really eats away at your income, right? But he thinks he could pull it off and live modestly, and he chalks it up to the life cycle. This is just part of the life cycle. So it seems like he's like made some peace with this. He acknowledges that it's really now it's about the friends and the memories that he's made, right? And so, like, look, I mean, I totally get that, right? Um, as a content creator, now I haven't done this full time. I just don't have the time to do this. I mean, I have a 9 to 5. We also have a business, and we have kids, young kids, and so um, this is just for fun. But it does take up a lot of time creating content, right? It's not as easy. And if you guys notice in my channel, like I don't really do reviews anymore. Because like I think like all these watches have been reviewed anyway, and if you're not getting the newest watch, um, then you're not getting the views, right? I'm not getting the newest watch. I don't have the relationships with the brands or with ADs or dealers to get the newest watch at that moment and have them sent over to me so I could do the review, right? So I've been doing some more of like the news kind of stuff, like stuff that comes up, new watches, and that's an easy thing for me to do. I could just do it one take, and go through those new releases and put it out there, almost kind of like have like a news channel that way. And that's like the balance that I've been able to figure out myself with this hobby and creating content. What he's got right is that it's all about really the friends and the memories. I did not know that when I put out my first video in the end of October in 2018, that I was gonna have friends. Like I feel like I have like lifelong friends that I met in this hobby. Now look, when COVID happened and quarantine happened, like we were all kind of in the same boat, right? Like, we our social lives had been severely limited, and all we had was this connection online with each other. And the community kind of like, you know, just like grew, and it was almost a perfect storm, sadly, right? Because like, obviously, I mean, I don't know about you, but I knew people who died from that, right? So granted, that was a sad set of circumstances, but it did produce some good friendships, right? And some good memories, like meeting my friends who I made in the watch community, meeting them in New York for at watch time, going to Philadelphia or outside Philly to Watchbox, now 1916 company, and meeting Ted. I gonna say Ted Lasso, Masso, Tommaso down there. That was so much fun. And then like going to like Austria and hanging out with Wolfie in Vienna at the Karl Bucher last summer. Like just like people from all around the world I've met. And it is all about the friends and memories. So man, just you know, yeah, I get it. I get it. So now we'll see what Archie does. Does he sell the rest of his collection? Does he build it back up again? He's gonna take some, not time off from doing live stream. He's gonna just like the Monday US live stream. He's not gonna do, right. But I still think he's doing like a live stream, like you know um, every day, whether it's for the Australian audience or for the US audience. Anyway, I know it comes up because it comes up on my feed. But yeah, yeah, I wish him the best. Look, I know he's very divisive personality. I think a lot of it is an act, but I feel for the human side of Archie. I feel for him, you know, because there's a lot of identification. That's why. Um, let's look at the chat and see what you guys have to say, and then we'll move on to the next video. Um, I got rid of a dial up a few. Okay, so you guys talk. Okay. Mizon said he'll be much more stable and secure without the debt, and whatever money he earns will be his own. Absolutely. The stress of finances, man, that keeps people up at night. I know it keeps me up at night at times, thinking about finances. And once you have a a clean slate, it's refreshing. Excuse me. So anyway, sorry about that. In Archie's case, a little less mediocre content is a good thing. Yeah, Bobby likes paid reviews. Right? I want to do collection reviews again. That was fun, especially during quarantine when some of you guys would come on with me and we review your collection. That was always a good time. I feel like I've reviewed everybody's collection though that's here, pretty much. Bobby Legs life. No, life advice. Christian is saying, "What happened to the group live streams? Nice seeing you on the casual watch review." Hey, thanks, Christian. Yeah, I mean, like again, like Christian, I think like the guys who I used to do the live streams with, like Amin and Colin and Marcus and Joe, like they have lives, man. They got like they got some serious jobs. You know what I mean? And family. So they got they got things to do. I I'm able to because of the channel. I keep going. You know what I mean? They don't have channels. I mean, Amin had at one point, but it's kind of like part of the routine now. To do something creative like this, if I call this creative, sure, I think it's creative. I always think of Archie would hate my collection, no Rolex, no Patek, and he hates Moser. He might like it now. He might like it now. He's cut the live streams down from 3 hours to 2 hours. Yes, that's also true. That's also, he was saying he was going to cut it down from 3 hours to 2 hours. I think he said like he didn't see any there was no difference. Uh, Archie was doing shorts of him eating at McDonald's and other fast food joints. Yeah. Hey, Caliber, greetings of the day. Sorry, I'm late. No worries, but good news to hear that Time Hill got down in the city, getting a job in IT. Oh, uh, okay. Y'all need to link up once. Yeah, no, we were right. We were doing the ASS awards, the Almond Cell Straps Awards, which was our yearly picks in the fall, and we would also do the GPHG, like our picks. But I think we did the our picks last year, but we just didn't do the awards last year. So hopefully, we'll do that again because that is a lot of fun. Love the chat. Oh, thanks, Steve. I really appreciate it. Okay, moving on to the next add to stage. Let's do that. Okay, next and last video is the life cycle of the watch enthusiast from Apple Smartwatch to Seiko, Purist, Rolex Snob, and beyond. This is the Urban Gentry. Now I didn't I thought the title was interesting, and I actually selected this and thought in my mind that I was going to go do this without actually even watching it. And then I don't know if you guys got a chance to watch it, but to my surprise, it was nothing like I thought it was going to be. Right? Yes, he did go through the phases, and we'll go through those shortly. But he did this like like almost like a movie form, right? Like um, there was no um, contact or there was no dialogue in a sense with the viewer. It was almost done like an interview form, like each phase was a different personality, like he was being acting as a different person. So it was different, and it was interesting. Let's talk about these phases, and I want you guys to think when we go through the phases, like what phase have you been? Have you been through all the phases? Because I feel like I can identify with there was 6 phases here. We'll go through them. I could definitely identify with 5 of them, and then I'll talk about the one I didn't identify. So the phase 1 was like my first real watch, right? And this character, he had I think it was like some sort of Quartz G-Shock watch, and it was like or Apple Watch, and it was like the watch that it does everything for me, right? And it's really affordable, and I don't need anything else, right? And I'm summarizing this, of course. Then he goes into the phase two, which is the Japanophile, right? And the Japanophile tells the my first real watch guy who was in phase one is like, dude, that's not a watch, man. You want to watch? You got to look at this. Pretty much look at this Japanese watch, is Seiko, because this is a watch, man. Everything, all the parts built by Seiko, like and this is all you need. You don't have to break the bank, and this is all you need, and this is all you'll ever need, right? And so then you go into phase three, and first of all, look, I mean, I don't know if I was ever in the phase one. Um, to be honest, I mean, yeah, I mean, there's times long ago where I had one watch, right? But I never put thought into it being like, oh, I don't need any more watches. Like that was just like, okay, I just have a watch, and then I'd get drunk and lose it, and, and I'd get another watch, right? This is like my fossil watch phase, right? Buying fossil, going to Pacific Sun and buying a fossil or Macy's or whatever, and buying a fossil watch that I thought was cool, right? But I never like thought of it like as needing just one watch. I was just like, oh, I just got to replace the one I lost because I was like drunk in a bar. um and then but then like the Japan, I mean, like, you know getting back into the hobby in 2017 and 2018, there was tons of videos, SKX videos, right? uh for Seiko, the Seiko monster videos, right? Tuna video, all these Seiko videos, right? It was just all over the place, right? Tristano would make them, Brandon Robb, and all these other guys. And so like I had that phase. I was like, wow, this is awesome. Seiko is great. Of course I've heard of Seiko before, but wow, I really never put any thought into Seiko. And wow, for this amount of money, at the time, like, $200 or $300 spending that on a watch, that was a lot, right? I mean, I was just like, oof, that's but man, I'm getting a great timepiece, and this reviewer on YouTube said I was, and I bought into it, and they are great watches. Those affordable Seikos, I needed to go through that. Um, I needed to go through a lot of these phases, right, to get to where I am at this particular moment in time. But I needed to go through that, and man, I did enjoy it. And every once in a while I'll go back to a Seiko, you know what I mean? Because I just, they're fun. I feel the same way about Citizen, right? So phase three is the Rolex AP Paddock and repeat phase. And this character Trisano played was like a crypto bro, right? He was like, I'm in for watches for the investment. It's got to be an investment. It's all about the flash and showing off, and having this like hard to get timepiece that you have to wait 3 years for, blah blah blah. And that was like a badge of honor doing that, and I was in that Rolex phase, right? I was in that high horology luxury phase for sure. Now I don't know if I was like a bro about it, right? I don't know if I don't know if had that attitude. I think I was grounded because I was surrounded by a lot of people that I had met at the time. By the time I got to my Rolex phase, I was surrounded by a lot of you guys, and so I was definitely grounded, and I wasn't, you know, um, all like testosterone out about my watch collection, right? Then there's phase four, and that is the contrarian hipster. Now this is the phase I don't relate to, and Tristano does a pretty funny job of like wearing like the beanie hat, and talking about getting watch ironically, you know what I mean? Like, he's just getting like, something that is is very very hipster like, right? And he's talking about, yeah, I got this watch. I'm like, hanging out with my friends that just moved to New York 2 months ago, who consider themselves like, New Yorkers now. And so like, I know that guy, right? I know that guy, but that was never me. I never got to, I never, yeah, I'm just not a hipster. Anyway, and then phase five, the connoisseur, right? The high end luxury collector who has the guilloche, the engravings, these high end, really high end and very expensive watches. Sort of like, and this is me, you know, um, stretching this out. It's not necessarily what um, Tristano said, but like, get like the high end independent watchmaker. For me, it was like the German. watch. I was getting like a Kadoki, you know, something like that, something that's very niche and just like artistic, artisanal, and you know, um, and being in the know of those timepieces and like nobody around me when I would go somewhere and wear this watch, they don't even realize what kind of watch I have on, and and I was totally in that phase, man. I totally was at that phase. Then you have the moment of clarity, right? You know, um, we don't need the watches anymore. Like, what are you doing? I mean, that's my moment of clarity. I'm like, wait a second. Like, why do I have all these timepieces? You know, and then you you go to a point where you're like, okay, I just need to only, no, I only need this one watch, right? I only, and then Tristano is like, he's in character and he's like, well, he's scrolling. He's like, oh, but you know what? That's a nice little watch this guy's got here on Instagram or on YouTube, and maybe I need a time. Maybe I should get a timepiece, right? Like a dress watch to go with this, right? Have two watches, and then you're back to you know phase one, two, and three again, right? So I've totally done that. I've totally come full circle, culled the collection, have ramped up again several times. I've done that over the years. I'm not the only one. I know there's a lot of you out there who's done the same thing. But anyway, really, really fun video. Not expecting this when I first sat down and watched it, so it was quite enjoyable, and I like the humor. Although I feel like I've moved on from the Urban Gentry. Like I think for me, it was great. It was a great channel when I was beginning, right? Um, my watch collecting, and I learned a lot, and I looked forward to whenever Tristano came out with a video, and I think I still think he's great. I still think he's very good at what he does. It's just I just moved on to different things, and but he does serve a purpose for a lot of beginner collectors and a lot of people who've been following him for years. So it's not just for beginners, but I think he's done a great job over the last couple of years. Let's see what you guys have to say. Um, I haven't been able to get through a TGV video in years. I hear you, Scott. I hear you. I mean, they are. This one wasn't particularly long. This was 10 minutes, and it's actually I feel like it's kind of short compared to a lot of his videos now. I'm not into the very very long form watch content type videos anymore. I mean, the Archie one was like almost like half an hour, but Archie like repeats himself, right? So he can basically condense all that. Let me get this condense all that he was saying into a third of the time. But he repeats himself. He has that like I don't know if it's like a thing. I don't know if it's like a tick that he repeats himself. But anyway, so yeah, it's just like the long form stuff is just too long. I don't need like a 20-minute video on a watch. I got to be honest with you. James, I stopped watching TGV years ago. There is only so much cringe I can take. This is the first TG video I watched in ages. Hey, look, thank you for watching and being prepared for class tonight. I appreciate that, Maison. And I'm afraid it reminds me of why I don't watch it anymore. Okay, all right. I won't. I won't do TGV for a while. I will do TGV, but I appreciate you playing along. Um, and only looked at it because it was being discussed tonight. Thank you. I really appreciate it, man. Peter C, phase one, I'm not spending more than $100 watch. Phase two, you mean there's watches that don't have batteries? Phase three, where did all my money go? Yeah. Very true, Peter. Hey, Joey B, what's up? Good to see you. Mizone, I'm not sure any of the phases fit me exactly. Okay. That's fair enough. Maybe the high horology one. I just went up market to Rolex until the money ran out. Yeah. Um, the watch hobby is not linear, nor is it a progression. Very, very deep philosophical statement there, Steve. I feel like it's very Confucius-like. You are very Confucius-like, actually, Steve. You're very, very wise. Um, I used to watch TV, not long, but not been a long time. My phases are my own. I do not compare my journey with anyone else's. Yeah, you tell him, James. Um, you like Hugo? You like the dinosaur? I think TGV is like Archie, definitely a character. You can tell he turns it on. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Totally, totally. I'll never forget the time Tim made him look like an honest. Oh man, that was hard to watch. That was really really hard to watch. There was like a hot minute. If any of you guys know, there was like a hot minute where TGV worked for Watchbox, right? Or that he was doing videos for them. I guess for like pieces that like maybe like Tim didn't want to review. I don't know. I don't know what the story was. It seemed like TGV's channel didn't really change at all, other than he moved from New York to Philadelphia, where Watchbox was at. And then they did Tim did I don't know if it was a live stream or just a video. By the way, Tim, you could totally tell Tim did not want to have anything to do with that. It looked like he was like it would look like a hostage video in a sense, you know. But yeah, it was just like, I think there was part of it was like Tim didn't want to be there, and kind of, you know, got a little it got a little mean, right? Making him look a certain way. I like it when TGV goes into brand research, not so much when they're commentaries. Okay, fair enough. Yeah, I can see that. Um, in the watch community, the Urban Gentry is a guy who entices the noobs into the white windowless panel, man. Uh, Rob the Yub flower phase was fun. Yeah, yeah. The Rolex flower. Yeah, me and Amin shared the Rolex flower. That was a nice phase. It is funny how these days you read an article and find yourself saying things like 25,000 is kind of reasonable. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Hey Nathan, thanks for checking in, buddy. Um, he had a 1 year contract which they didn't renew, right? A couple of months in there, and was a plagiarizing incident, and after that they didn't let TV. Oh, well, okay, so that's the detail. There was a plagiarizing incident. Okay. I think you should go live with watches with Dennis. I feel like you both are similar taste in watches. Do I? Do I? That sounds familiar. Watches with Dennis. Yeah, sounds familiar. I don't. I don't know. I think I don't know. Yeah, I mean, like I'm always willing to collaborate. I like collaboration. It's fun. It's what they tell you to do if you want to have a successful YouTube channel. You should collaborate with bigger channels. Um, yeah, maybe. Maybe. Anyway, guys, hey, listen, this was a lot of fun. I only did 2 videos, right? Let's watch Soup Light. It's just me. Um, hey, KR, what's going on? Good to see you. But hopefully, could bring this back, doing this more often. I don't know if I could do watch Soup on Sunday nights anymore, but Wednesday night seems to be a good night, and hopefully, I'll reach out to my boy Clayton, see if he's up for it again, and if he could do watch Soup. I like what this watch that watch is that watch. Yeah, yeah, that's a good channel. That's a very good channel. This watch that watch. He's good. He actually, um, man, uh, like 7 or 8 months ago, or 9 months ago, whatever, within the last year, but almost a year ago, when Clayton and I were doing Watch Soup and we did a video, he actually commented. I mean, he wasn't live, but he actually commented. This is when his channel was like really, really young, and yeah, man, he got a kick out of that. We were doing analyze his video, um, and so we thanked him. Um, anyway, I'll be back on Friday to do a weekend review, and hopefully, be back on next Wednesday for another episode of Watch Soup Light, or maybe just regular Watch Soup. Let's see. Let's see what happens. Anyway, guys, thank you so much. Have a great night, and I'll see you guys in the next stream. Take care.